Greetings everyone, and welcome back to the bench. Today I have another Hi-Fi Made Fun. Another review for you here. This is Fosi Audio. You know, I reviewed a couple of their amplifiers and really happy with it, especially the V3, really happy with it. I thought it was finally something that's halfway decent. You know, I believe it's under $100. Pretty good buy. They have a new product. It's a preamplifier, the P3. So I'll review this today. I was going to do a JAT 501 hot rodded video. Well, when I pack things up to move, I can't find something I need. So I have that video pretty much shot. I just need to find that part so I can finish it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the review first and do the other video later. I know some people are waiting for me to do some more electronic-y type videos. So yeah, we'll do that. Don't worry. So anyway, the Fosi Audio P3 Pre-Amplifier. Let's pop the cherry here. Okay, so we have a manual. Ooh, vacuum tubes, vacuum bulbs. We have a power supply. What is this power supply? Can I read it through the thing here? 12 volts. We have, I assume these are the vacuum tubes, because they don't appear to be installed. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. You know, this is a professional video all the way. I mean, quality content for you people. Okay, so we have the Fosi Audio P3. It has treble volume bass, a RCA Bluetooth, I guess that is, yeah, and off switch. And we have a headphone jack too. On the top here we have tube sockets, which we'll have to populate. Let's check the back here. On the back we have the RCA in, RCA out. We have an auxiliary out, the 12 volt in, and the Bluetoothy antenna. So, is there, yeah, there's a antenna here. And these must be the tubes. See if I can do this one-handed here. Oh boy, I don't know. I might have to, one moment please. But no, I think I got it. Let's see, pop this out. Come out of there, tube. One moment, please. Oh, I'm gonna get it. There we go. There we go. Oh, look at that. That is cute. A little vacuum tube. I don't know what this is. I'll have to look. See how many screens and all that stuff there are, if there's any. What is this? Fosi Audio 5654 vacuum tube. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. Let's check out the manual. I don't like sitting and, you know, going through manuals in the video. I just want to take a look at the specs if I can find it here. Is this it? Oh, that's not in my language. Yeah, this is a professionally unedited video. RMS power. Why would a preamp be rated RMS power? Headphone. Oh, yeah, it does have a headphone jack on there, doesn't it? That's for the headphones, I'm sure. Okay, I'm with it here. I'm getting there. 16 to 300 ohm headphones, so that's what that's about. Of course, you got the Bluetooth and RCA input. The outputs. And I'll just kind of scroll through these. So there you go. That's a look at the specifications. So what I'll do now is get the tubes plugged in, get this thing hooked up, and we'll do an initial listening test. Okay, paired it up with the V3 here. I shouldn't say paired it up because people think Bluetooth. No, it's connected through RCA cables back here. Hook the V3 up to my speakers. Apologies, the lighting's still kind of wonky here. I don't really have a good lighting setup yet. So I cranked the volume controls all the way up on both amplifiers. I just wanted to see how noisy it is when you do that. And it's pretty quiet. I mean, there's a faint hiss coming through. I can't really hear it sitting back here, you know, a couple feet or so. Only when I put my ear into the tweeter you can hear a little bit. Okay, so let's do a little music. Okay, I'll fiddle with the tone controls here. Everything's flat. Let's treble down. Let's treble open all the way. Bass down. Bass up. Bass flat. Okay, so I think they're still using the tone contour that they used in their other amplifier. What was it? The TB10, I think it was. Very nice contours. It doesn't affect the mid-range area. Pretty much leaves that alone and only adjusts the higher end of the audio spectrum and with the bass the lower end. But we'll take a look at that on the scope. I did listen to the headphones. It sounds fine, quiet. I have my old Sennheisers here. Not really a headphone type user. I like listening through speakers, but yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. And turn the light off here. And you can see the filaments glowing. They got like a sky blue colored LED. It's kind of interesting. I've never really seen that before. Sky blue LED. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play music and pull the tubes out while it's on. Probably not the best thing to do, but I'm kind of curious what will happen. If I can. So that was the right channel's dead. Okay, so with both tubes out, I'm getting both channels faintly. So they must feed forward some of the signal. If I can get these in. If I can do it here on camera, I might have to do another one moment, please. Okay, so I plug the tubes in, and when the filaments warm up, it comes back to normal volume level. So yeah, there's some signal getting around the tubes when they're out of circuit, but the tubes do seem to be handling the bulk of the amplification. Okay, I wanted to test the Bluetooth connectivity, so I turned on my old tablet here, Nexus 7 from 10 years ago, And it showed right up, the Fosi P3, and I linked it up, and I'm playing some weird guy's video. Listen to this guy. I actually bought this thing. And I took it upstairs, put it in storage, and I never turned it on, plugged it in, or anything. So yeah, that's what we're going to look at. That's Bluetooth connectivity. So now I want to hook it up to the scope and see what's going on with it. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking the 1 kilohertz sine wave from the music player through this preamp, so I can drive this preamp as hard as I can. I want to see where its clipping point is. So I'm taking the output to a 10K load resistor, which is a common load you'd see on the input of a lot of amplifiers. Usually it's not less than that. So I have my preamp cranked all the way into clipping. See, I'm adjusting the P3's level control. See how it stays clipping? That tells me it's this preamp that's clipping. So I'll take this out of clipping because I want it turned up pretty high, get as much signal as I can. So now I'm adjusting the P3. Okay, so you can see it's clipping on the bottom, but not on the top. Probably the way the tubes are biased. So I want to take that out of clipping, and might be some distortion. We're at 3.74 volts RMS. I'll turn it down. I'd say there's a good, safe 3 volts RMS output. I'd say you're safe with that. See, it starts getting distorted there. There might be some distortion at that higher level, because see, at the dotted line there, it's not quite touching the bottom. I have this centered, so it's not an offset. So let's turn this down. Let me turn the scope up then. See, now it's touching. Let me adjust this here. See, now it's touching, and it looks pretty sinusoidal there. So I think I'm now at 2.1 volts RMS of output. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is load it down with a 1K resistor. It has 10K load on the output now. So that's with 1K. So the output impedance of this amp is pretty high. Let's see here. We're at 2.10. We dropped about half. About a 6 dB loss there. So the output, that would seem to indicate, might be around 1K. Significant output impedance of the amplifier. A little disconcerting. I'd like to see a lower output impedance. But normally you don't really load these things with any more than maybe about 10K or so. As far as the gain of the preamp, to get a 1 volt RMS output, I'm putting 0.725 volts into it. You might say, oh, that's nothing. Well, you have to remember, this is a preamp. You're taking a line level signal in to get line level out. You don't want a lot of gain. So yeah, to measure that, I have the tones flat and the volume fully open. So there is a small amount of gain, 1.38 times. So it's very small. Like I say, you don't want a lot of gain with your line in to line out. You don't want to amplify that a lot, much at all really. But it could help one complaint of these amplifiers, especially with a higher voltage supply, to get that large output swing, you need to put a larger voltage in. So, having this in the circuit will give you a little bit of boost, not much. If you're looking for more boost, it'd be nice to have 2 times the output, but again, being line level, you wouldn't expect to have much extra gain there. As far as the tone control action here, I'll adjust the treble. You can see the slightest change of the 1 kilohertz signal. It's not really affecting it much. Let's move over to the bass. That's kind of strange. Right around 2 o'clock, there's like a little dip. And bass all the way down. Around 10 o'clock, there's a little peak. It's kind of odd action there. But overall, it's not affecting that signal. So the treble's staying in the higher frequency regions and the bass in the lower frequency regions. So if we look at 100 kilohertz signal, you can see now the bass control has a larger effect. And a 10 kilohertz signal, of course, the treble control has a large effect. So, like I say, I like that contour where it leaves the mid-range alone. Because a lot of tone controls kind of affect the mid-range. Where these leave the mid-range alone and just adjust the region they're supposed to. That's real good action. Okay, let's check the frequency response of this thing. So I have it hooked up to the, say it with me now, Field Tech function generator here. And have it set to as close as 1 volt RMS output that I can. And I'm going to sweep the frequency here. Okay, so as we bring it down to 20 kilohertz, we did lose some. That's a little disappointing. I did check. I have the tone control set flat. We're down to 910 millivolts. Let's go down to 10 hertz. You can see it dropped off even more there. Let's see if I can find our 3 dB down point. We put some waveforms up. It's probably about as close as I'm going to get it. Somewhere between, I'd say about 6.5 hertz is its 3 dB down point, but it is rolling off quite early. I'd like to see it nearly flat at 20. I don't want to see a lot of roll off. So let's check the upper end of the spectrum now. Okay, at 20 kilohertz, it's doing very well at the top end. I'll just crank it up till it starts rolling off. We're at 70 kilohertz. It's probably got input filters and such. And we're 3 dB down around 70 kilohertz. It's probably due to filters on the input to keep RF out of the unit, which is plenty good. Okay, just for kicks here, I'm looking at distortion on my scope. I don't really trust my oscilloscope. I have some issues with it, but I'm inputting a clean 1 kilohertz signal. Let's look on the screen here. So this line here is 1 kilohertz fundamental. It goes way off the screen because I'm kind of zoomed in. And in that signal I'm feeding the preamp is a 4.5 kilohertz pilot signal, as I call it, or a marker. That just allows me to see the reference. And it's 1% of this. So these are harmonics we're seeing, and if it's from the scope or the amp, I can't really say. What I'll do is I'll plug it directly into my preamp, which I know has very low distortion. So if this is 1%, these are down like a quarter. You know, they kind of bump around a bit. And that jump there was because the music player resets that. You know, it's looping that tone and it cuts out for a bit and confuses it. So, yeah, this is what we're getting out. So let me plug my, or I should say the scope, directly into the output of this preamp. And I'm going to turn the preamp up just a bit because it may not be at the same level. Yeah, I'm going to have to set the same level. I'll just adjust it here. It's a little too low, I think. And go up to about where it was. I'll just set it there. How close are we to? No, we're not. Shouldn't be clipping yet. Yeah, there's a couple small bumps, a little smaller than the P3, but I don't, like I say, I don't trust this. This preamp should not show anything because it should be way below what the resolution of the scope, because it's an 8-bit scope, and you know, and not counting some oversampling, you can see, what was it, down, I think it was like 3.9, or I should say 0.39% or something like that. So we can't really see for sure, but I just wanted to see if this thing had something, you know, really outstanding. Okay, so I open the case here and take a look at the board. Measuring from circuit ground, they're running the plates on the tubes at 54 volts. There's a few NE5532 op amps. These are probably tone control. That one there might be input, buffering. That one's probably the output buffering of these tubes. I see some Elna caps. And these green caps, they have like this bowl symbol. I don't know if you can see that there on them. There's a switch mode supply since they need the higher voltage for the tube plates. This chip here is a power amp protection chip. Let me see if I can read it for you. C1237HA. And probably controls these relays. I can hear them click. So they might be watching out for DC or something like that. I'm not exactly sure unless I analyze it more. And we have the Bluetooth module there. That's pretty spot on with the output impedance, because when I measured with my meter across the series resistor with the output, it's 1000 ohms, 1K. I'm not sure why they went with that amount, but yeah, it'll work, it's fine. I'm not sure what that is, that little square chip. Is that a headphone amp? I'll get in on that. I'm not going to look it up or anything. If you want to look it up, fine. I think it's upside down, but so yeah, it seems to be nicely laid out. Just a few observations I had. Just using the multimeter to measure the DC resistance. I'm getting 28K on the input, so the input impedance probably would be around that. So there you have it, the brand new Fosi Audio P3 Pre-Amplifier. Seems to do the business. I didn't find any major issues, outside of a couple minor quibbles I had that probably don't amount to much in real-world use. Noise is pretty well controlled. Sounded good to my ears through, using the V3 amplifier and listening through headphones. I really like the tone control contour. It leaves the mid-range alone and only adjusts in the region it should. Just like that other amplifier, they do well with the tone controls. So would I recommend it? Certainly. It'd be a nice companion to their other amplifiers. I mean, like the V3 here, it looks about the same. Look nice on the rack there, or on the bench alongside the other amplifier. Of course, you can use Bluetooth devices with it. It's nice and compact. Tube sound, yeah, I really don't get into that. I think it's kind of a psychoacoustics type thing. If you think that it does sound like tubes, then, well, you probably will believe that. But I didn't measure anything. I mean, the frequency response is flat, and I didn't see any major or low order harmonics or anything, so it's should have a pretty good clear sound to it. Transparent, clarity, or whatever audiophile terms you want to use. But that's all I'm going to say. If you're interested in purchasing this thing, there's meter turning off. There's some information down in the description. And once again, I appreciate your support, and thanks for watching.